I know how close you and Jared are, and I love the guy, and I know you're going to direct a Walker episode
coming up.
So we'll talk about that. But I know that that you and Daniil created an idea to do a prequel for Supernatural, right? And it was written about. And then Jared posted online that he, this is the first I've heard about it, and he was a little bit upset.
Yeah.
How did that go about?
It was for those who know me, know that I'm extremely superstitious when it comes to a few things, and one of those is, and this is probably something that a lot of actors share, is like, we don't talk about auditions until we got the role.
100%.
Yeah. I learned that very quickly when I'd call mom and dad back home, and they'd be like, "What are you working on?" And be like, "Oh, well, I'm going out for this one audition, and I've got this other audition for this show, and
my mom still asks me if I got Saving Private Ryan.
See, yeah,
it's like, no,
yeah. My mom is
it's
like,
over.
Did you hear about Pearl Harbor? Did you get it? It's like, it was 15 years ago, Ma. No, it's not happening.
Right.
So that's something people who aren't in the industry may not understand, but it is just simply something that it's an unwritten rule that you don't talk about shit until it's a done deal, until the ink is dried. And this was my first venture into producing and creating content, and I didn't want to jinx it at any cost. So I shut up.
Divulge any information to anybody.
So I shut up about it. Only the people that had to know knew. And I wasn't trying to keep it a secret for any other purpose other than superstition.
Right.
I'm like, if I don't talk about it, I got a better chance of this happening.
You're right.
And
you should do that more often.
And I definitely had people that I was, excited to tell. Jared being number one on that list. Mom being number two. Sorry, Mom. And then it was getting close to getting to the point where it was like, oh, this is really happening. The network, the studio had signed off on it. Now the network was getting involved. We still didn't have a script. In fact, we just got the script last week.
Wow.
So this was back in February or something. So it was very early on. I mean, we had a concept essentially. And, when you start getting studio and you start getting network involved, you start getting a lot of people, a lot of eyes and a lot of ears. There's assistants, there's, publicists, there's executives, and people talk. And it got out, and, Deadline they've got moles everywhere.
Right.
He probably works for Deadline.
Ryan?
What?
You work for Deadline? Do you work for fucking Deadline, dude?
What?
He's over here taking extensive notes, I've noticed.
He looks different today. Yeah.
It's my Deadline look.
It's your Deadline beard.
This is what a Deadline. Yeah.
This is what a Deadline.
This is the Deadline template.
This is what a mole looks like.
All right.
So they dropped. I'm on set in Toronto, and I get a phone call that they're like, "Hey, Deadline caught wind of it, and they're throwing something out this afternoon." I was like, "What?" So I quickly had to write up a little something, and I'm getting called from network, and I'm getting called from studio, head of PR at Warner Brothers, and I'm getting called from my agent and manager, and everybody, and I'm running back and forth to set, and I'm on a new set, and they don't do cell phones on this set,
right?
Which is just something that
I like that.
I do too. I have no problem with it, and they also stay on set, right? So they sit there all day long, the actors, and they stay off the social media and the phones and stuff. So if you need to make a phone call or you need to check something, you got to go back out to the trailers, which isn't.
Sometimes they're far.
Sometimes they're far, but it's also, it's slightly frowned upon.
Right.
And I'm the new guy, and I don't want to ruffle feathers. I'm a guest in these people's house, so
right.
I'm going to play by their rules. So I go back and I look at my phone, and I'm trying to come up with a little blurb that I can send out to, hey, we're Deadline, boom, excited. All the while, not even thinking oh shit, I haven't told A, B, C, D, E, or,
right.
I haven't and that was something that I was going to be excited to do.
Right.
But again, I'm scrambling. Network's calling me hey, you got to, throw something out there. So I did. And I'm like, boom, okay, there it goes. And I run back onto set. And now I'm working. Now that's out of mind because I've got to be present in the scene that I'm doing. So I'm not even thinking about it. And I get back out to my trailer at a certain point to check and make sure that, that went okay. And it was like emails of like congratulations, text message of congratulations, and then it all just kind of turned south. I was like, and I had a long text from Jared, and he was really bummed out. And I just remember my heart just sank. I was just like, fuck.
Because he tweeted something, right?
Well, that kind of,
he's like, this is news to me. No one even told me this.
Right. Yeah. I in hindsight, like that could have been a step that was avoided, but he did it, and it happened, and we dealt with it. And he and I were great. Like, I mean, that was
right.
I wish
Your brothers.
I wished he had just called me and said, "Yo, dude,
what the fuck?
Why didn't you tell me you're doing this?" And I would have been like, "Oh, okay, yes, I've been on work. I've been working, and this has been happening, and it's way early in the process. It's not even a done deal. We don't even have an outline. I just didn't want to talk about it or tell people and jinx it." And he totally got it, and he's understood, and he was like, I probably shouldn't have done the tweet.
Right.
It's like I was surrounded by people, and it was late night, and had a few drinks, and I kind of lashed out, and I got it. I was like, yeah, look, man, I don't. Your feelings are valid.
Yeah,
your feelings are totally valid, and I messed up. I should have told you. I should have at least clued you in before the world found out, and that's on me.